And the fourth official is Mohamed Atoyani from Comoros. DJ.
Presenting to you a deathly serious sweepstake. Mozambique come face to face with Botswana in what can be catalogued as a quarter-final of sorts in the 23rd edition of the COSAFA Cup. How deep and desperate is the desire of the Mambas and the Zebras to flip the script and conduct a pursuit of a coveted piece of silverware. They've been counted out, dismissed, and yet they may still be favored by football fate. Today is the final day for the four nations that are operating in the Group A space to stake their claim and possibly be knighted as knockout contenders. Who is to survive this group of death, that being Group A in the COSAFA Cup? Before any ball is kicked or battle is had, the time has come for the national anthems of both Mozambique and Botswana, who are dressed in the white and the baby light blue.
And now, the national anthem of Botswana.
When the final twist in the COSAFA Cup tale is written and the groups are finally finalized, it is either going to be inspiration or perspiration, followed by tears. Mozambique and Botswana need to focus on what they can control, which is their performance and their own internal willpower. Botswana were touted as the underdogs in the Group A kennel. And that may be true, but this underdog does possess a threatening bite, one that we are yet to truly witness in this riveting regional tournament that is the COSAFA Cup. Final pictures are being taken here. Didier Gomes da Rosa has called for his selected forwards in his Botswana starting 11 to display their natural attacking ability in conditions that are slightly unfriendly. And Victor Martina has made a host of changes to the team that started against Eswatini for Mozambique, almost too many to count. Nakusa and Fumo, as well as Nambire and the captain Melo, offer the width, the speed and the creativity for the Mambas. Ferreira Jr. and Loborino are the two up top for the men in red, and Diaz, Carello and Simango have been instructed to become the midfield destroyers for this one. Angola's Ailton Carmelino presides over this crunch match between Mozambique and Botswana. Along with Bafana, Mozambique have scored a goal in this tournament, one priceless equalizer against the host nation. The Mozambican Mambas have slithered their way to the threshold of the knockouts. Question is, can they replicate the feat of former teams who achieved knockout qualification in 2008 and the latest being in 2015? So, of Mozambique and Botswana, who will pack the heavier punch and deliver a knockout blow to progress into the knockouts? This match is poised rather beautifully for one face, one name and one nation to achieve something worth remembering at the 2024 COSAFA Cup. Bante is leading the line for Botswana. What impact can he have in this clash? Let's wait and see. Only the brave can guesstimate which way the Group A wins will blow. Once the dust settles, there are a whole range of possibilities that can sprout up. But Mozambique and Botswana will be solely focused on obtaining a monumental victory here this afternoon at the Isaac Wolfson Stadium. An arena that has not seen this amount of persistent competition in a good few years. It is a ground that houses the odd home game for PSL club Chippa United and Super League club City Lads, which is a ladies' outfit. This afternoon, however, it's hosting a crunch battle between Mozambique and Botswana. And we have liftoff in the final match of Group A. Mozambique taking on Botswana. Mozambique in their traditional red and black colors, Botswana in the white and light blue. Here's Ramotse. Immediately starting to get to grips with the situation at hand. All indicators are pointing to a tactical tussle with a plethora of nuances. That said, the team that is best able to pounce on the big moments in this match and apply an even amount of ambition and then conservatism will be the victors of this quarter-final of sorts in the 23rd COSAFA Cup. Lekoko. Good defensive intervention from Nakusa, who's playing on the left-hand side of a back four. Janito, Pedro and Fumo to his right. And then just ahead of him, Diaz Carrello, as well as his captain, Esteve Melo. It'll be interesting to see if Ferreira Jr. will join Lobarinho up top for Mozambique. As for Botswana, they've gone for three forwards, one traditional number 9 in Bante, Tiberi and Kolachano down the left and right, respectively. Here's Esteve Melo. Done really well to find some space. And he goes to the right-hand side, where Ferreira Jr. was waiting with enthusiasm. Janito. He faces up against Kopalang, the captain of Botswana. That's a nice spin in the center of the park from Simango. Little clip ball is intercepted and booted upfield by Ramotse. We'll have to do some more defending. Nakaso. Here go Mozambique on the attack. Lobarinho. Ramotse can't get there in time, and Mozambique have produced the first real attempt of the game. Just 2.5 minutes into the encounter. And James was nearly called into action. Not the greatest of defending by Botswana and Bubutsi in particular. No harm done, and James has a goal kick to take. So for the first half, Botswana will be playing with the wind. James looking for the head of Bante. Instead it landed on the head of Pedro of Mozambique. Here's Cassius Senono. Tiberi for Botswana. Fumo is there for Mozambique. Diaz Carello doing his best to wriggle out of a sticky and tricky situation. Here's Lekoko, Ramotlwa. And then it's in again into the mix by Sakana. Disappointing outcome in the end for the Zebras. Mozambique had an underwhelming impact on last year's COSAFA Cup. The Mambas were not quite equipped enough to advance to the semis. Instead it was Lesotho that progressed as the winners of that group. Just like their Mozambican counterparts, Botswana also finished with 4 points at the conclusion of the group stage of the previous COSAFA Cup. And their 4 points was not enough. And Zambia was selected as the best runner-up. They actually went on to win the tournament. This year, however, the Copper Bullets have lost all 3 of their group matches. Probably the most disappointing COSAFA Cup campaign in the 23-year history of the competition. Sakana landed on the head of Tiberi, and then Bante, and then a Mozambican boot. Here's Cassius Senono, Ramotse for Botswana. Attempting and pass through the eye of the needle. Maybe got it right on that occasion. No. Just a bit too heavy-handed. The goal kick is taken quickly from Duto. Here's Nambire. They've only gone for 2 midfielders of Mozambique. So they might be outnumbered if Botswana can find the relevant spaces. In the center of the park, there goes Lekoko, Ramotlwa. Nambire tries to funnel it down the right-hand channel. James under some pressure from Lobarino. Nambire isn't afforded a lot of time to dwell on the ball and lift his head to pick out a pass. It's still in. Some real pressure being applied here on Nakaso. So kind of has a reward. He's got to throw in for Botswana. And he's shaping up for a long one. Why wouldn't you if you are playing with the wind? Sakana. Looked like a threatening situation. Not threatening at all, it turns out, for Mozambique. Nakasa. He'll have Tiberi to outwork this afternoon. Let's see if he can do exactly that. Esteve Melo wins the ball back for Mozambique and decides to go on and drive on. Feels a lot like the earlier tussle between Kenya and Zimbabwe, this one. These two sides still playing with their shackles on. But Ramotse has won a free kick for Botswana. One that will, in all likelihood, be taken by Babutsi, who is what one would call a ball-playing defender. It's a great pass from Cassius Senono, who might on occasion revert back into the back line to form a 3 at the back. When they're in possession, they're playing with a 4. Here's Simango for Mozambique. Possession is taken off his toes. Still Mozambican ball, however. Pedro Nambire. Not operating in the ideal space that he would want to be. Babutsi does well in the physical confrontation. Kopalang. So there's news in the other clash between South Africa and Eswatini. Bafana have scored at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, which places them at the top of the Group A standings. Ramotse, which might just force one of these two nations to become a little bit more industrious and ambitious in the final third. Here go Botswana. Tiberi will try and collect that. Doesn't get there. Here's Ferreira Jr. Still Ferreira Jr. Still very much there for Mozambique. Melo to Lobarinho. Comfortable save for James. Lovely swift move by Mozambique. Really powerful and speedy run down that left-hand side, and they worked it nicely through the center of the pitch to the right-hand side. Lobarinho's strike just lacked the necessary venom to cause any kind of trouble to James. Kopalang. That'll be easy pickings for Nakasa. Botswana have looked nice and assured at the back so far. Same can be said for Mozambique. Here's Sakana, another long throw. This time is towards the edge of the box. Cleared only partially so by Genito. That has fallen to Lesotho. They've got a throw in to Botswana. 10 minutes in, and it's exactly what you would expect from a clash that features Mozambique and Botswana. Tight and tense, filled with aerial battles. Offside call there against Bante in the colours of Botswana. So 3 days after sharing these spoils with Bafana, Mozambique looked incredibly fatigued in their last outing, and Eswatini were incredibly resilient against the Mozambicans. That matchup was an uninspiring replay of the 2021 bronze medal match. Last time the COSAFA Cup tournament was hosted in the city. It was in 2021, of course. It was also the last time that South Africa won the event. Currently they are on course to be part of the Final Four. But things are subject to change in Group A. The tides are always shifting in this group. Here's Simango. It's neatly done by Fumo. Here's Nambire. Not too sure who he was looking at and who he was trying to locate. Perhaps a member of the substitute bench. Ramotse. Seems to be a good balance in the Botswana midfield. They've got two right footers, one lefty that plays rather close to the striker. Players that can disrupt play, players that can make play. Cassius Sinono, one of them, but not on that occasion. Dutour hangs it in the sky. The wind hasn't taken it very far. Tiberi gets Botswana moving in a forward direction, as does Nakusa for Mozambique. Lobarinho has made a few interesting runs. He's always trying to keep the back line of the opposition guessing and on their toes. Ferreira Jr. Nice little reverse ball. Oh, is that a foul? The referee says no. Alton Carmelino telling Estevão Melo to get up. Colajano. It's a really good touch, a really good drive. Now there just needs to be a good strike. Great challenge from Fumo. It needed to be so accurate, and it was. You take the risk by going to ground in your own penalty box, but it was timed to absolute perfection to deny any further enhancement of Tiberi. Sakana lining up another one of his signature long throws. Esteve Melo. Nambire, haven't seen too much of him in an attacking sense for Mozambique just yet. So their fullbacks are rather orthodox and rather conservative so far. As for Mozambique, Lesotho and Sakana, their two fullbacks are pushing high up the field in their attempt to try and suffocate Mozambique. Here's Lobarinho, goes and stops. Lobarinho on the outside. Overburden cross from one wing to the other. Nakusa. Pereira Jr. Good block by the head of Babutsi. Nakusa. Esteve Melo. Ferreira Jr. His run is halted, but he is set to continue, and he's got a throw for Mozambique. Conditions do certainly make it favorable for throws and crosses into the box. Nambire received the ball rather awkwardly. Did well to not give it away. Here's Fumo for Mozambique. Off to his captain. Melo. Simango. Simango. Can't get his shot away. And now Botswana can go. And go they do. Bante. Tiberi. Little clip ball over the top. Almost there for Botswana. Nicely watched and marshalled by Genito. Botswana produced a performance that upset and frustrated the host nation the last time they trotted onto the Isaac Wolfson turf. If they are to upset the apple cart again today, they'll have to be just as defensively stubborn and a little bit more precise in the top end of the field. And he'll be certainly craving a clean sheet, Dutour of Mozambique. How about that for a first touch? Nakusa. Always availing himself down the left-hand side. He's starting to be involved more and more in Mozambican attacks. Nakusa. Big switch towards the right-hand side. Decent challenge from Lobarinho. Quite a handful for defenders. He has this real physical presence, but also a delicate touch to his game. Great pass from Simango. Equally assured defending from Lekoramotla. And Kolahano has attracted a foul from Pedro. It's a little bit cheeky from Kolahano, attempting to nick a few yards while the referee wasn't looking, but he was paying attention. Cassius Senono. Cassius Senono again. His radar seems to be on point so far. Same, however, cannot be said for the likes of Ramotse and Lekoko Ramotla. That pass is picked up by Simango. Now Genito. Dogged stuff from Sakana. Now it's interesting to note that according to FIFA's ranking system, both Mozambique and Botswana can be located outside of the world's top 100 footballing playing nations. The Mozambicans are 103rd on the list, and Botswana hold a ranking of 145. But regionally speaking, these two do have the pedigree and the experience. And they've operated in the group, what has come to be known as a group full of draws. Fumo does well enough. The ball just clipped his hand once he made the initial block and stoppage of the Botswana chance. And now the men in white and light blue have an ideal free kick opportunity. Enough distance between the free kick spot and Dutor's goal. Enough time for the ball to dip and swerve in time and to nestle in the back of the net. It's all about the contact. And they'll have to take the wind into account as well. 3 possible free kick takers for Botswana, maybe even 4. Ramotse is there, as well as Lesotho. Tiberi has left responsibilities to the other 2, so it looks like it will be Ramotse. So from the right boot, what can he produce from the set piece for Botswana, who are in such a desperate need of a hero and a goal? Here's Ramotse for Botswana. It's parried by the goalkeeper and it's tucked away. Kopelang, the captain, scores a captain's goal for Botswana. They have bulldozed their way through, and that goal keeps them in the hunt for a semi-final appearance in the COSAFA Cup. They kept Mozambique guessing with 4 possible free kick takers. Ramotse eventually stepped up. He didn't go to the goalkeeper's right-hand side. Instead, he went low and left. And Dutor definitely would feel that he should have done better. However, Kopelang, the captain of Botswana, was the most alert. Early setback for Mozambique. Bright start for Botswana. And plays restarted again. Melo. Here's Fumo. And due to the amount of draws in this group, if South Africa and Mozambique are to both end on 5 points apiece, it will go down to goal difference. Just because the head-to-head record has already been settled, it was a draw between the 2. So the calculators may be required when the full-time whistle is blown. But Botswana for now will be fully focused on scoring as many goals as they possibly can, because a victory might not even be enough. And only one of South Africa, Mozambique, Botswana or Eswatini will progress into the knockouts, just because Kenya have claimed 6 points from their 3 group matches and could possibly be the best runner-up at this year's COSAFA Cup. It's a really good overlapping run from Nambire. He's yet to add an end product to his game. Met defensively from Babutsi. That is absolutely divine. Botswana carry on the move. Tiberi. Ramotse. It's a pass option out wide, one that he explores. Ramotse again. And then the first time cross from Sakana is a woeful and a wayward one. So it is important to note that South Africa currently have 5 points in the group. Botswana also currently 5 if the scoreline remains this way. The goal difference is also 1 apiece for South Africa and Botswana, so it will definitely go down to goals scored, and South Africa have currently scored more goals than Botswana. Kopelang has actually had the honor of scoring Botswana's first goal at this year's COSAFA Cup. They've waited over 180 minutes to celebrate a goal. What a time to do so too. Here's Duton. Pedro. Victor Martínez urging his team forwards. The Mozambican coach was once a former teacher, although he is still exactly that for his Mozambican troops. Martínez started his tenure as head coach of the Mambas in July 2019. He's also previously guided and molded the under-20s and the under-23s of Mozambique. In other words, he has quite an innate understanding of the Mozambican football system. So far, his side are currently being outmaneuvered, outthought by Botswana, who are coached by Didier Gomes da Rosa, whose resume really speaks for itself. He's managed club sides on the African continent like Cotton Sport and Simba before he was persuaded by the Botswana Football Association and signed on the dotted line in November last year. So he hasn't spent a whole lot of time for Botswana, but they are really playing exciting stuff under his watch. Lesotho. Ramotse. Nice little chop back to Lesotho again. This is brilliant stuff from Botswana, keeping the move alive, but eventually it's brought to a halt and meets a Mozambican clearance. Mozambique have never ever tasted the sweet nectar of COSAFA Cup gold. They were semi-finalists in the 2004 COSAFA Cup tournament, and then went one better in 2008 and 2015 when they lost in both finals. First to South Africa in 2008, and then of course to Namibia in 2015. And they were actually the favourites to win that final. And before the start of this match, they were the favourites to beat Botswana too. But football is an unpredictable game, and Mozambique have suffered the first bruising blow. Duton. Nicely made by Kopelang. It's a really good switch out to Nakusa's side. Nambire in close support. Here he is, Nambire. Melo on the overlap. And he won't get there ahead of Babutsi, who so far is always first to the second ball. Mozambique have a free kick chance. And a chance for the big boys, the likes of Nakusa, Fumo, Pedro, Janito, to make their way into the penalty area, to sow the seeds of chaos in that Botswana box. Question is, will they be successful? Diaz Carello goes short instead. It's a move from the training ground from Mozambique. Not entirely effective, but they do have a throw. Carello. Babutsi. Almost missed it, but didn't. Sakana. Just wanted to get rid of the ball. Nakusa steps into an inverted role in the midfield. Something that's quite popular and trendy in the modern game, for fullbacks to be involved in the center of the park. Esteve Melo. attracts 3 Botswana players, one of which was Kopelang, the captain. Diaz Carello. That's a really good ball. And a decent stop from James, who had to be elastic. Clever little touch from Lobarinho, just not enough purchase. The foul spotted right in front of the linesman by Lekoko Ramotlwa. Seems to be a bit bemused with that decision. Duto. Pedro. It's really good pressing from Ramotse. Does well in both parts of the game, being attack and defense. Babutsi, it's a battle of the number 3s. Babutsi getting the better of Lobarinho on that occasion. Ramotse. They want a foul to Botswana, and they've got it. It's really clever forward play from Kolachano. It's going to be a yellow card, the first yellow card of the game so far. It's been shown to Pedro, just for being slightly reckless and very late on the challenge. Now Botswana will look to try and capitalize on that mistake and also try and attack Pedro as much as they possibly can, seeing that he's already been booked. Just joining us now, half an hour in, and it's Botswana that have claimed the opener and the lead against Mozambique. Ramotse, not enough juice on that pass. So they've done well to win it back. Tiberi, unfortunate outcome for the Zebras. Similar to Mozambique, Botswana have had their fair share of appearances in the knockout rounds, but they've also had their fair share of heartbreaks. Like Mozambique, they've also lost 2 finals, one in 2016 and another in 2019. Stumped ahead from Nakusa. Diaz Carello is beaten to it by Senono. Now it's Sakana. Tiberi. He's strong, but he's not strong enough. Here's Diaz Carello receiving the ball in a tricky situation. But if you want to play that number 6 role, you'll have to be rather comfortable in those tight spaces, and Diaz Carello so far is. Here he goes. Lobarinho was the target, always playing on the final shoulder of the final defender. Ramotse has spotted the run. It's a decent trap from Kolachano, who has kept the ball in for Botswana. Lesotho couldn't get the cross away. Great first take from Esteve Melo. He has oozed these bits of class so far, Esteve Melo, in the center of the park, but nothing really meaningful in the final third. Tiberi. Tiberi has a hit, and the wind just simply carries it over Dutor's crossbar. You have to apply a little less heat when you're taking the strike on. And the wind makes it terribly difficult for Mozambique to string a few passes together in the final third and make their way from back to front. Might be a little bit easier in the second half, so Botswana have to utilize this opportunity of playing with the wind to the fullest extent in the first stanza. Here's Esteve Melo, nearly releasing Lobarinho. Ramotse, Cruyff turn. Lesotho. Oh, it's Kolachano. Lekoko Ramotle. Babutsi. To his goalkeeper James. Cassius Senono. That is a almost tremendous ball from Cassius Senono. Sakana just has to be careful. A bit too over the top on that occasion. If you're unaware, only the top 3 nations of each respective group and the best and lucky runner-up will make up the group of 4 semi-finalists. Win today may not guarantee progression and the tag of group winners, but it does put the victor in a very good position nonetheless. As of now, it's really all semantics. Mozambique and Botswana will just want to win. And so far, Botswana are getting the better of Mozambique. Ferreira Jr. Now Melo has decided to have a go. Not disturbing James whatsoever. Besides making that one save, that one half-hearted dive to his right-hand side, hasn't done much. Here he is. Looking for Lesotho, not finding Lesotho. Instead booted it towards his coach, Didier Gomez da Rosa. Lambire. In the shadows of Mozambique. And out into the sunlight they go. Nakusa, loose touch from him. Kopelang. Kolachano has opted to swap flanks. So far it's just that one set piece that has unraveled Mozambique. Now it's picked up from Bante, who's currently playing on the left flank after starting through the middle for Botswana. So perhaps Didier Gomez da Rosa spotting something that we haven't. And that is perhaps a weakness in the middle or either the right-hand side of this Mozambican defense. It's a really good nip in the midfield initially from Lekoko Ramotlwa. Nonetheless, it's still Mozambican ball. They'll be desperate for a goal just to keep their hopes in this group alive and their dreams of lifting their first ever COSAFA Cup alive too. It's thrown in by Nambire, who one would think has to do a little bit more for Mozambique down this right-hand side. They haven't delivered a lot of crosses into the box, and Botswana always tend to be a little bit vulnerable to crosses into the box, which is rather strange that they've opted for carpet football as a tactic, that being Mozambique. Kept in by Fumo, and then eventually cleared. Could be a pass. It's gathered nonetheless by Dutor. Here's Janito. Steps into the midfield, delivers a good ball to Diaz Carrello, who's patiently waiting for some options, finds none of them, and it's a throw to Botswana. With respect to their pending World Cup qualification status, Botswana and Mozambique are seeded in the very same group. Before these qualifiers resume again next year, Botswana and Mozambique will be satisfied with their current status in their World Cup qualification group. Botswana are third and Mozambique are second. Level on points with group leaders Algeria. Ramotse decides to have a snapshot. He might have another opportunity. Ramotse links up with Sakana. And then Babutsi. And one can really tell and feel the French influence on this Botswana national side. Their ability to remain calm in the crunch moments. And they do play with speed and fluidity, the typical French style that you'll see in Liga. So it will be a corner for Botswana. And Ramotse is rather lethargically making his way over to the right-hand side. So, Ramotse in swinger. We all know what happened the last time he was in charge of a set piece. Now it's Tiberi. Ramotse, change of angle this time. And it's picked up from Carrello. And Ramotse is sure to be booked for that rather cynical challenge. A challenge for the benefit of Botswana, who were light with respect to numbers at the back. Another foul awarded to Mozambique. The curtains of the first half will soon draw to a close. Mozambique are yet to provide sustained attacks on that Botswana goal. Here's Esteve Melo. It's a really good pass from Melo. And an instinctive strike from Simango. Really good pick out from Melo. It's a really difficult one to get on target for Simango just because of the bounce before it arrived to him. And it was more of a hook attempt. But a decent one. One that wasn't too far away. Lesotho. Here's Nambire. It's more like an up and under. Fantastic first touch from Simango. That first touch and then that little burst of speed which forced the foul to be made. Mozambique need to up their tempo if they are to draw level and create a sense of parity in this first half. Here's Fumo. He can play on the right-hand side, the left-hand side, but today he's a centre-half for Mozambique. They do have two extremely tall centre-halves, that being Pedro and Fumo. Ramotse uses his body to good effect, as does Kolachano. One can say exactly the same for Fumo. So just 3 minutes of normal time that's left in this first half. It's a half that really has flown by. It's been filled with some very good pieces of play. And they've captured the eye, but only the one goal separates these two. And there seems to be one heated debate close to the dugout area of Mozambique. And Victor Martinez is having a real good old go with Didier Gomez da Rosa. It is a high stakes affair. Tempers are expected to flare. And it's still continuing. Yellow card to a Mozambique player So much chaos and calamity taking place. So the yellow card against Kolagano has been rescinded, but the referee is going to display a yellow card to another Botswana player. And we've already seen Botswana receiving their first yellow. They're about to get their second, and this is going to be a major shake-up in this tie. A red card has been shown. Looks like it's to Ramotse, after providing the inadvertent assist to Kopalang. Ramotse has been given his marching orders for that late challenge. The Mozambican bench pleaded their case, and the referee granted their wish, and now Botswana have it all to do for the remainder of this clash. They'll just hope to make their way into the halftime interval with that clean sheet intact, so that Didier Gomes de Rosa can construct some kind of plan to negate the fact that Mozambique have a one-man up on them. And Ramotse was looking so good, so smooth for Botswana, only to receive his second yellow card. I'm under correction, but it's the third time in this tournament that a player has been sent off. James, 2 minutes to go. It's probably not 2 minutes, it's the 2 yellow cards that were shown against Ramotse. So how do they negate that fact? They have found their answer, have the Mozambicans. The clarity they were after. And they have ended this first half in a big way, with a big bang, with a big header at the back post from Ferreira Jr. But what about the ball from Esteve Melo? I said that it needed to be precise and perfect, and so it was. And it was almost impossible to miss for Ferreira Jr. And that red card to Ramotse has changed the entire complexion of this tie. And that is that for the first half. That is all she wrote. 1 goal apiece at the break. Botswana started the brighter of the two, but the tides have changed in favor of Mozambique, who now have a man up and a goal against Botswana. and they are all smiles, filled with enthusiasm as they head into the changing room. As for Botswana, they'll have to dig terribly deep to find a way back and to find a winner against Mozambique. But after the first 45, it's Mozambique 1, Botswana 1. The Isaac Wolfson football stage has been the site of drama and angst. 2 well-taken goals and 1 red card for Ramotse. Botswana have made 2 changes at the break. Ukome coming on as well as Tlalefang. As for Mozambique, Vali Pavai has come onto the field. Now, as of right now, South Africa currently lead Group A. Mozambique and Botswana are all square on 3 points each. So as it stands, South Africa will progress into the semi-finals. Unless Eswatini can spring a surprise and one of these two can find a winner. Diaz Carello in a plethora of space up towards the goal scorer, Ferreira Jr. Profited off a really delicious cross from his captain Esteve Melo in the dying embers of the first half, did Ferreira Jr. Here's Simango. Simango carries on, great determination, great play from Simango, chance for Mozambique. Chance for their second and his second. He said he wanted more communication from the substitute Vali Pavai. And perhaps it favoured him more because it was slightly behind Ferreira Jr. Really difficult one to take and try and divert on target. Early scare survived for Botswana. What kind of plan has Didier Gomez da Rosa coughed up for this second period? Ferreira Jr. having a lot more joy now that the midfield destroyer, that being Ramotse, has been forced to take an early shower. How desperate is Botswana's desire to improve their situation, to pluck themselves out of their current predicament. Kopelang scored the first goal of the encounter after a really good free kick from Ramotse. Here's Kolachano, takes it down really well. Ukome, substitutes pass, lacked any real direction, but Botswana are setting up camp in the Mozambican half. That's a good flick on header. And then Pedro deals with the threat. Offside call against Pino. And now the Mozambicans go again. That's a lovely flick from Ferreira Jr., who is really starting to display his flair. Vali Pavai. Simango. Here's Nakusa. Made a few enterprising runs in the latter stages of the first half. Nambire equally so. Here's Ferreira Jr. No foul for the goal scorer in Mozambique. And the ball was long gone before Kopelang gave a little nudge, the barest of nudges, to Ferreira Jr. Here's Nakasa. Well, this present convocation is the 9th meeting between Mozambique and Botswana. Of the previous 8 tussles, it's Mozambique that edged Botswana in the victory column with 4 wins to 2. So far it's still all square between these two proud nations. Botswana will have to be so selective in the manner in which they attack that Mozambican goal. They can't go helter-skelter. Instead, they need to be a little bit more calculated and precise and choose their moments wisely. There's James. Really good clearance on the goal kick. Unable, though, to pick out a fellow teammate of his. Lobarinho. Now Diaz Carello. A lot of time to try and pinpoint a fellow man in red and black. There's Diaz Carello again, starting to make Mozambique tick. Lobarinho takes it in his stride. And it's again that famous battle between the two number 3s, Babutsi and Lobarinho. Now it's a 1v2 situation here. Enough on the back pass, the back header from Nakasa. Here's Kolachano. Will have to do a lot more defending that he would have liked in the second half. Kopelang. Handball, says the referee. Spotted by the linesman in actual fact. Yes, Esteve Melo. He's a player that can slow things down and also quicken things for Mozambique. As is Diaz Carello. Lobarinho. Drawing those centre halves out of position. Not that one though. Not Cassius Sinono. Here he is again, Cassius Sinono. Manages to scratch out a ball to Pino, who is one tall forward. In the past, these two vibrant setups have produced 3 5-goal thrillers. All 3 were won by the Mozambicans. Lovely reverse ball by Ferreira Jr. Vali Pavai. And nearly a moment to forget for James. Really good swift attack again from Mozambique. And just for a second, James took his eye off the ball. Didn't embarrass himself though. Diaz Carello goes back. And sometimes you do need to go back in order to go forwards in this game of ours. And that's exactly what Mozambique have done well in the last 10 minutes. Very early cross, Pedro there to handle the cross for Mozambique. Another offside call against Botswana, this time against Ukome. Esteve Melo. Diaz Carello. Nice little chest down from Ferreira Jr. Mozambique on retain possession. Here go Botswana. It's these moments that they have to make do with and try and capitalize on. The referee has gone to attend to James, who might have stretched a calf muscle or something. Maybe a blow to the knee or the shin. It's difficult to ascertain exactly what's bothering the goalkeeper. This is a short and sweet tournament and the players are being overburdened by the pressure and the demand. And this is golden seconds for Didier Gomes da Rosa. Just needs to motivate his troops a little bit more. The goals that we've seen in this game so far. Ramotse's free kick was parried by Dutor and then slotted away, emphatically so, by Botswana's captain. A captain's goal from Kopelang. And then this goal, seconds before the half-time interval. A delivery fit for the gods by Esteve Melo, and a rather simple header by Ferreira Jr. And that goal meant a great deal to the young winger. It's quite rare for a winger to score a header, so Ferreira Jr. will certainly be looking at the highlights after this game. Lesotho. Here's Diaz Carrello. Esteve Melo. He's been having a squeaky clean game so far, has the Mozambican captain. Thought about adding the cherry on top of the cake. And you'll have to delve deep into the archives to study the last Botswana victory over Mozambique. 2010 was the last time they claimed a win over the Mambas, and that match was just a simple international friendly a few months after that famous 2010 FIFA World Cup in this country. Handball there from Pino. The referee has indicated for a Botswana free kick. Another opportunity to perhaps clinch the advantage. It came off a Mozambican hand. Spot on decision by Angola's Ailton Carmelino. So three-man wall to beat for either Colachano or Ukome. Two left-footers. One has been on the pitch far longer than the other. Tor is just constructing now his four-man wall. And he went for the postage stamp bender, did Colachano. Got it horribly wrong though. Here's Nakusa. Here's Colachano. Botswana have to be so careful as to how many attackers they commit forwards. Nice little layoff. Chance for the left fullback on the overlap. Lesotho just blazing his attempt over the top. It's an excellent late arrival into the box though from the left fullback. And a wonderful spot too from Tiberi. Fumo Melo. Plenty of space in the center of the field. Esteve Melo realizing exactly that. He's gone from playing on the left side of the midfield three to the right. Another snapshot, this time from Simango. Had a similar one in fact in the first half. One that he just hooked over. This one was from a really tight angle. He was being closed down by Babutsi. There's a different view of the action. Now James. Of course looks for the towering presence of Tlalefang. And then Ukome. Really calm ball there from Dutour in the face of pressure. Last year's early elimination from Mozambique ended a run that saw them consistently qualify for the nitty-gritty knockout stage. In the inaugural COSAFA Cup Championship, Mozambique did have a powerhouse of a team, and a memorable one in that. They enjoyed a terrific campaign that year for many reasons. Firstly, they had the honor to feature in the first ever COSAFA Cup match against Malawi on March the 1st, 1997. Also a player by the name of Adelinho scored a hat-trick in that edition of the competition. And thirdly, well, they captured bronze. If they wish to do something similar, they have to defeat Botswana here. This time a much cleaner take from James. Slingshots it to the left fullback, Lesotho. Up towards Tlalefang. Now Diaz Carrillo will feast in the scraps. Ferreira Jr. seems to have the ball on the sixpence, does Ferreira Jr. Same applies to Esteve Melo. He's shaping up for a cross, slight deflection on his cross into the box. No harm done for Botswana, who had a half a moment there. If the ball from Ukome was better, it had a bit more air on it. Tlalefang might have just been in for Botswana. Here goes James again. Simplistic approach from Botswana in the second half. Here goes Diaz Carrillo again. Chops back and he's confronted by Lesotho. Doesn't mind confrontation, does Diaz Carrillo. He's a unique type of midfielder. So 9 bodies back for Botswana. 9 outfield bodies, only that one waiting on the halfway line for a possible counter. Arriving at the back stick again, very late. Osvali Pavai. And nearly got on the end of a tricky ball for that Botswana backline. For a brief moment, Kolachano switched off. Esteve Melo between the two cameramen. Is there to be an assist here for him? Here's Simango. Great piece of skill to slither beyond Babutsi, but it just was out of play. He might be able to pick up that Victor Martinez is barking instructions to his troops. Perhaps he sees an opening that they don't quite see just yet. Here's Esteve Melo for Mozambique. Still Melo. Back heel to Simango. Well off target in the end, but a good swerve on the strike. For a brief moment, James might have quivered in his boots. Kopalang making up for his error. Still very good territory gained for Mozambique. Ali Pavai. Here's Diaz Carrillo. Not the ball that he would have intended to produce. Botswana have displayed a marked improvement in international competition over the last few years. The Zebras have effectively used the COSAFA Cup as a kind of launch pad for the other bigger international competitions, and they really have improved over the years in the other major tournaments and this one. It took almost a decade of disappointment before Botswana reached the latter stages of this competition. They did so in 2006 for the first time and repeated the feat in 2007. And it also took them a good while to attain their very first win in the COSAFA Cup in 2003. Nakusa. Diaz Carrillo. Short little pass, followed that up with a run, but not the return ball to Carrillo. And now there's a chance here for Tlalefang to stretch his legs. He's got a throw. The referee initially had the whistle to his mouth. Tlalefang receives the return ball. Still Tlalefang is bundled over. Clean challenge in the eyes of the referee. There's Carello. 65 minutes in and we are all square, one apiece. And just to remind you that Botswana are playing with one man down, one midfielder down. Kollegano wanted none of it from Valipavi. Mr. Vermelo. He can produce some skill. Is this to be the moment of magic? Whoa! What a goal! A blunder from the goalkeeper, but what a beautiful strike! Out of absolutely nothing from Mr. Vermelo. Said that Kopelang scored the captain's goal for Botswana in the first half. There's another captain's strike from Mr. Vermelo. A few lovely, delicate touches. And then he gave it a good old wallop. And right through the hands of James, who was close to making a blunder in the early stages of the second half. And that is a moment to forget for the young goalkeeper, and a moment to remember for Esteve Melo, scoring for his country whilst wearing the captain's armband. Well, that goal takes them level on points with South Africa. Now Botswana, with the man down and a goal down, have it all to do for the remainder of this tie. That's the second goal Mozambique have scored at this year's COSAFA Cup finals. And they smell blood with the men in red. Lesotho. A timely goal for Mozambique. Just before we head into the later stages of the half, where quite literally anything can happen. And they'll be desperate for a 2-goal lead. Ferreira Jr. overruns it. Kopelang. Great through ball from Kopelang. And a really good intervention at the back from Pedro. It needed to be. Got there ahead of Tlalefang. Botswana carved them open on that occasion. And the textbook sliding challenge has maintained Mozambique's lead. Ukome. A lot flatter. Ukome again. On the weaker boot. Great ball in. All dealt with by Mozambique. And Pedro again. And nearly a touch that could have proved to be the downfall. Final nail in the coffin for Botswana. Here's Ferreira Jr. teasing that Botswana back line. Too much teasing and he'll pick up a yellow card. Now there's destined to be a change for Botswana. Ramolale comes in a perilous situation for Botswana. Not final though, but as of now a little bit perilous. And here they go. The cutback is on. Mozambique survive yet again, and now they have a chance to launch one ahead. Botswana have had a few moments in the last few moments. Doing most of their damage down the right-hand side, down the left-hand side of Mozambique. Tiberi. Bicycle kickers across. What a ball that was. from Tlalefang. It's just a pity that there wasn't a willing runner in the corridor of uncertainty, but a tremendous cross. Acrobatic from Tlalefang, but not yet lethal. And here goes Dutor for Mozambique. So there is major news. That goal from Esteban Melo has placed Mozambique at the top of Group A. With a superior goal-scoring record over South Africa, who have scored 2 goals. Mozambique have in fact scored 3. Now, if this scoreline remains unchanged, and the one between South Africa and Eswatini at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, Mozambique will progress to the semi-finals and not the host nation, Bafana Bafana. James, more pressure for the young goalkeeper. He gives it away to Simango, who goes to the right-hand side. Botswana can't fold. Can't afford to crack under the pressure. Neither can Mozambique, because now their destiny is within their own hands. Only they can decide if they wish to be part of the final 4. There's been plenty of twists and turns for this match, and the one at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium kicked into life. All 4 nations in Group A were tied and stuck with 2 points. Now South Africa and Mozambique have 5 points apiece. Lesotho. Boy, have they missed Ramotse in the center of the park. Botswana. Non-threatening shot to Dutor's goal. Although Mozambique hold a slender advantage, they and Botswana do have this propensity for draws over the last 18 months. Mozambique have settled for parity scorelines in 3 of their last 5 matches. And Botswana themselves have shared the spoils 3 out of the last 5 times as well. But here goes Valipali to wrap things up for Mozambique. His shot is clattered off Kopelang's leg. Diaz-Carrello. Himself and Valipavai not on the same page on that occasion. Great darting run into the box. What about that for a challenge from Kopelang? He's kept his nation, his team in the game, in the COSAFA Cup. Flick on to Ferreira Jr. Babutsi gets there ahead of him. Simango. Yes, Carrello. Nakusa. Now it's Botswana ball. Tlalefang. There's 2 Mozambican defenders to beat. A lot to do for the isolated number 9. Cassius Sinono. To give away, Esteban Melo does well to squeeze one through the legs of Lekoko Ramotla. Melo, calm and composed stuff from Mozambique. And look at this run from Fumo. It's always exciting to see a centre-half to go on an adventure in the opposition's half, and that's what Fumo did. Valipavai. Both these nations usually tend to be greater than the sum of their parts. And their football style appears to be in a much superior state compared to 12 months ago. Simango. Hangs it up there. This time James gets rid. Taking the cautionary measure by punching it and not trying to catch it. Because we all know what happened last time. He tried to catch the ball. A stinging attempt from Esteve Melo. Is so far going to be the winner between Mozambique and Botswana. It's going to be a Mozambican change. Lorenzoni, the man with the rather eye-catching hairstyle, will come on for what remains of this quarter-final of sorts. And here he goes, Lorenzoni for Mozambique. Can he make an immediate impact? And definitely cross the nerves of Mozambique. There was a hefty challenge committed by Ramolale, the substitute for Botswana, on Genito, who seems to have regathered himself and found his feet again. Lesotho. Diaz Carello's head in the way. Well, they've dealt with the threat of Tlalefang brilliantly, have that Mozambican backline so far. Looks like a real physical specimen, but he's yet to really show his power, leading the line for Botswana in the second half. Tiberi. Lesotho. Tiberi again. Here's Cassius Senono. Really good ball from Cassius Senono to Ukome. Now Lesotho. Botswana with a brilliant opportunity. Kolachano stretched every sinew in his body to try and get there in time. Just wasn't meant to be. Esteve Melo again. Botswana on the front foot. Now Kolachano. It'll be interesting to see what the referee decides here. It looks like Botswana have been given and awarded a corner. Simongo came worse off that challenge. Well, instead it's going to be a throw-in rather. Ukome. He puts it in there. Carello, together with Pedro, doing the defensive work for Mozambique. Kolachano there for Botswana. He's been functioning in the trenches. Now, Simongos appears to be in agony. Might just be a simple muscle spasm, or something a little bit more concerning. His elaborate and acrobatic clearance causing that injury, and it looks like he'll be stretchered off, so Victor Martinez will have to make a forced change. He's already made one in the form of Lorenzoni. And the match will be restarted with a drop ball. Esteve Melo nods it in advance. Well, it's been more than a year since Botswana's last victory on South African soil, which was in this competition against an enigmatic but eventually exhausted and exasperated Eswatini. Conversely though, Mozambique last won within South African borders on the 6th of January this year against their other regional rivals, Lesotho, in what was a friendly context. So as things stand, nothing is guaranteed just yet. Mozambique are still currently in control of their own fate. And they do not only lead Botswana, but they also lead the standings in Group A. Eswatini are last, Botswana third. South Africa are second, and they'll be quietly rooting for Botswana while they look to add a few more goals against Eswatini. Really haven't been a lot of goals in this group, in this tournament. 6, in fact, 3 of which have been scored by Mozambique. Valipavai tries his best to win a corner kick for the Mambas. Before that corner will be taken, Didier Gomez da Rosa will make another change. Orabile Sekwai comes on to try and grab an equalizer, which won't be enough. They need 2 goals to Botswana. So it's looking highly unlikely that Botswana will be part of the final 4 group. Nonetheless, they can put up a fight. Esteve Melo towards Lorenzoni. Another corner. A take 2 for Esteve Melo. Lorenzoni saying, put it in the middle, Melo. He is currently wedged between Kopelang and Babutsi, is Lorenzoni. Really good challenging ball in from Esteve Melo. Simango. There's Tlalefang. His physical threat has been nullified by Mozambique in the second half. For now, over the last 5 entertaining editions of the COSAFA Cup, Botswana have bulldozed their way into the knockouts on 3 separate occasions, and Mozambique have done so on 2 previous occasions. Apart from the usual customers like Zambia, Zimbabwe and South Africa, Mozambique and Botswana have proved their worth and their willingness to step out of the shadow of some of their other regional giants. Chance for Botswana to draw level. Really crucial hold on by Dutor. It was a slick move by the Zebras, but Ukome's ball just lacked the legs. Here's Lesotho. He moves it on to Kolachano. Kopelang is also joined in the attack for Botswana. Esteve Melo. Nakusa. Yeah, and Lorenzoni is offside, well offside. Nakusa. Decent distance and height on his clearance. Esteve Melo making a bit of an error there. A really rare sight. He's maybe given the ball away on 2 or 3 occasions. Botswana, they have a fantastic opportunity here. They have to make it count. Kolachano, still Kolachano, he goes to ground. Free kick to Mozambique. 3 bodies on the ground. 1 defender being Pedro for Mozambique, Tlalefang for Botswana. Food for thought. Now Group stage drama does continue tomorrow afternoon with a new batch of teams and storytellers. Tomorrow afternoon will also officially mark the end of the group stage. Namibia versus Seychelles is the one tasty tussle taking place at this stadium, and then Lesotho-Angola matchup is set to unfold thereafter. This was the all-important equalizer from Esteve Melo, and his cross was really well met by Ferreira Jr. So an assist and a goal for Esteve Melo, who is surely to be the player of the match. The four semi-finalists, whoever they may be, will not be embroiled in a battle tomorrow. Instead, the focus will shift onto recovery and preparation for the semi-final stage, where things really start to heat up in the COSAFA Cup. Mozambique and Victor Martine are going to make another change. Edmundo. He'll trot out onto the field. So Edmundo replacing the hard-running Loberinho. Semi-final number 1 will kick off at 3 p.m. on Friday, followed by the second 3 hours later. And the final, the match to decide who walks and goes home with COSAFA Cup gold. That match with destiny and history will only be sparked into life on Sunday, around about sunset time. Mozambique will certainly hope to be there. Lorenzoni. Mozambique are still in the lead in Group A. South Africa have only scored 1 goal against Eswatini. And that 1 goal was scored by Sibanyoni in the 3rd minute of the game. So they started the match off like a house on fire. But it seems like Eswatini have recovered and put up more of a fight in the second half. That's a really clever flick on from Lorenzoni. Mozambique surely can't wait for the final whistle. Simango. And the referee has spotted a handball. Handball by the substitute, Sekwai. Mozambique are now playing at a walking pace. Lovely switch, lovely play from Mozambique. Can they end it off in style? Can Botswana spoil the party and perhaps send South Africa through to the COSAFA Cup semi-final stage? Great ball, just ahead of Tlalefang. Duto. Great take from Lorenzoni. Simango has also been a great watch throughout this collision between Mozambique and Botswana. Diaz Carello. Lorenzoni, we might see more of him in the knockouts if Mozambique are to hold on and if Bafana Bafana are to fail in their endeavour to score goal number 2 against Eswatini at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. Here's Vali Pavai. He's added a whole lot of enthusiasm and energy to the Mozambican left flank. a big, chunky 5 minutes have been added on. Determined run from Valipavai eventually reached the dead end. Here's Cassius Senono. Can he pull a Cassius Clay and deliver a knockout blow to the hopes of Mozambique? Quick, short throw. Sakana. Here's Ramolale. Kopelang, Botswana's only goal scorer of this match. The spectators are slowly making their way out of the Isaac Wolfson Stadium. It's been a tremendously entertaining day of football. Kenya beat Zimbabwe by 2-0 earlier on and could very well finish as the best runner-up. Just out of reach for Sekwai. Now that Kenyan result is especially applicable to this game, and for Mozambique, who, if they are to finish on the top of the log, they will face the best runner-up team, which should either be Kenya or Namibia, Angola or Seychelles, maybe even Lesotho. It's difficult to tell as of now. The point is, Mozambique will face the best runner-up come Friday afternoon. So one could argue that they have the slightly favorable draw. Here's Lesotho. Big raking, high catching ball from him. Tiberi. And there's another hit from almost a million miles away, a hyper-ambitious attempt from the substitute Ukome, whose impact has been rather limited. Kolajano. Strong header from Pedro. It's not the first time that he's produced a really strong, convincing header clearance. Here's Valipavai. Esteve Melo was the intended recipient. Instead, it's Botswana ball. Here's Ukome. Lesotho. Mozambique have a chance to wrap things up, and it falls to their captain, Esteve Melo. Really good save. Still Melo. Still Melo for Mozambique. Chance for number 3, and it is! That should be that! Mozambique are going to the semi-finals of the COSAFA Cup. Shouted from the rooftops. Look at them, they are absolutely ecstatic. And again, it's Esteve Melo, the architect of Botswana's downfall, the architect of Bafana's downfall. That touch was great initially, brought the save from James, and then just the presence of mind to tee his teammate up. And it's another really emphatic finish from Edmundo, off the bench and onto the score sheet. What a day, what a match for Mozambique. They'll be going to the knockouts. And they'll be joining Comores Islands, possibly Kenya, and possibly someone else. And Botswana have been thoroughly defeated, although it has to be mentioned and applauded that they played the entire second half with 10 men. There's not much you can do with 10 men against a fully fit and fully firing Mozambican 11. Lesotho. And that is that. Mozambique will be strutting in to the semi-finals of the COSAFA Cup. They've scored the most goals in Group A, and by that measure, they'll be in the final four. Their run continues, their adventure continues. As for Botswana, their journey comes to an end. And the second half of 2024 has started with a big bang for Mozambique. The youngster Edmundo wrapping things up for them, scoring them their third goal. But Esteve Melo really put in a world-class performance against Botswana this afternoon. A terrific strike and a terrific assist too. And you do feel for the Botswana ballers and brawlers. They'll be back next year. But for now, all of their hard work comes to nothing, and they are eliminated prematurely from the COSAFA Cup. As for Mozambique, keep an eye out for them as their search for COSAFA Cup glory continues. They are yet to win their first COSAFA Cup title. Could 2024 be the first year that happens? A look again at all the goals. First one being scored by the Botswana captain, Kopelang. And when that happened, we thought that Botswana was very much in control and in the driving seat. And then that cross, that delicious cross that you can't put a price on from Esteve Melo. And then the clumsy goalkeeping howler from James. And Mozambique profited from that. And then Esteve Melo stung the palms of James before teeing up and on-rushing and super accurate Edmundo. So the day has ended, and this match has ended. It's Mozambique with a 3-1 victory over Botswana.
Dario, let us know as to how this match was for you, obviously being captain, fantastic within this encounter.
Como é que foi o jogo para ti, não é? E capitanear este grupo?
Bem, é uma honra de captar a este grupo e o jogo foi bom. Entramos com o objetivo de vencer o jogo e procurar marcar mais golos para conseguirmos passar na fase do grupo.
The aim was to actually win the match and score as many goals as possible, because we knew that was the only way to make it into the semi-finals.
And then finally, what did the coach say to you, obviously going into half-time, because that's when things were level?
Ao intervalo vocês estavam empatados. O que é que o treinador vos disse no balneário?
Bem, primeiro estávamos a perder e com o espírito do grupo não conseguimos a perder a cabeça e continuamos a trabalhar até conseguir empatar o jogo ainda na primeira parte. E no balneário, só a palavra de ordem era ganhar e entramos na segunda parte com dignidade e a procurar mais golos e conseguimos.
Well, starting on the losing side, we never lost our heads. We went up front, we scored, we leveled the match at halftime. Obviously, in the changing room, the coach asked us to win because that was the aim, and he took us up to that.
Well, congratulations.
Muito obrigado.
That is Dario, the player of the match. He is the captain of the Mambas. That's from Mozambique. Now let's have a conversation with his head coach. Coach, I think people will be wondering as to what it is that you just said to Dario.
Oh, no, we're so happy. It's a wake up for the group. As you said in pre-match, I said that we're going to win, we're going to pass. I believe in this job that we're doing, just to developing these players. It wasn't easy. So I told them to be patient because, as you see, Botswana scored it first, and then so we go behind the result. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see these guys under 23 qualify to semi-final.
Yeah. You're very happy, Coach, and it's also evident within your team. Let me know, obviously, what was the conversation at halftime, because you were a man up. So what was the instruction that you gave to your team?
I told them to believe themselves and then to self-confidence, and then so I said that it's possible. If they scored one, you can score it two, can score it three. So this is what's happening. I was so happy with the subs that I made. You see the boy who in the second half, the last sub that I made, he scored the goal. I'm so happy with this performance of my players.
Absolutely, Coach. Just before I do let you go, people only saw the yellow card coming up to you. What was that celebration that you had?
I would like to say, apologize for the Botswana team. I went that side because I felt that it was my side. It was something that is happening. It's emotional. I have to say apologize. This is a fair play. I can't do that. When I scored it, I can't go there. When I saw that, oh, I am in the wrong way, I was coming back, and even I say that, apologize. But I understand. Even now, when we finish the game, I will go and talk with them, that apologize again.
Well, Coach, congratulations. We'll see you in the semi-finals.
Thank you very much.
That is the head coach of the Mambas. They've secured their spot within the semi-finals of the competition. Let's have a conversation now with head coach of Botswana. Coach, obviously you go one up and then you get a red card, and that seemed like to be the turning point. What's your assessment of the game?
Yeah, we have played a very good first half with a new system. We were very positive, particularly when we defend. We defend very high. It was very interesting. For sure, we deserve to lead during the first half. Unfortunately, we took a red card. I'm not sure that our player deserve 2 yellow cards in this match, but okay, we have to accept the decision of the referee, even if the decision is wrong. And the second half, we try to maintain a consistent attacking form. It is why we got some opportunity also and to score, but okay, congratulations to my player. They didn't give up. They fight until the end, and okay, we are disappointing tonight because for sure regarding the first half, we know very well that we had the opportunity to qualify, but football is like this sometimes.
Football is like this, but one thing that is a positive is the football that is within Botswana, Coach. What are the big lessons that have been taken out from this competition?
Yeah, you know, we played this tournament with a promising player, with a young player. So for me, it was very interesting. I can assess everybody. I can see which player has the level to play with the main team in the coming months. So it is clear. It is clear for me now. You know, today our best player didn't play because he was suspended. Our midfield, Reiki. But also there is another player, and for sure they will play with the main team in the coming months.
Well, Coach, hard luck, but congratulations on the lessons learned.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.